Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's top stories, a premature infant born in Taipei City Hospital turns 7 thanks to the love and care of medical staff there. In China, students of the newly rebuilt Tianjin Elementary School go above and beyond to preserve their school premises. And in Taiwan, many elderly residents no longer sit around at home but are out there pursuing their own happiness. We kick off today's program in Durban, South Africa. City volunteers organized 2 Buddha Day ceremonies, one for members of the Chinese community and the other for local volunteers and South Africans. While most of the Zulu volunteers are Catholic, they nonetheless paid homage to the Buddha with sincerity and respect.
Under the scorching sun, Durban City volunteers and Tzu Ching hasten their pace to make markings on the ground in preparation for the Buddha Day ceremony. Local Tzu Chings also lend a helping hand with the making of some 200 sticky rice balls for the local volunteers who arrive hungry.
It's a Mother's Day, Tzu Chi Day, and the Buddha passing ceremony.
Commemorating the tri-celebration, Durban City organizes 2 ceremonies, and as local volunteers pray to the Buddha at the outdoor event, their sincerity does not conflict with their Catholic faith. Despite the unfamiliarity with the rituals for some, with the help of volunteers, participants make offerings to the Buddha and Bodhisattvas. A local volunteer even endures the pain in her leg as she joins the congregation in the walking meditation. For members of the Chinese community, the annual Buddha Day celebration has been an event never to be missed, and they're inspired differently each time.
I am particularly moved to see people express their gratitude to their own mothers, and when we pay respect to the Buddha, I get very emotional.
City's Buddha Day ceremonies worldwide are celebrated by different cultures, different races and in different languages. The piety and sincerity in everyone's hearts transcends all boundaries and differences.
When Xie Chun-an came into the world at Taipei City Hospital in Taiwan, she only weighed 720 grams, slightly heavier than a small bottle of mineral water. But the hospital's medical team brought her safely through the critical period, and she has now grown to be a happy, healthy 7-year-old girl. Accompanied by her family, Chun-an has returned to the neonatal intensive care unit to express her thanks to the nursing staff for taking such good care of her. Seeing this cute 7-year-old, it's hard to believe Xie Chun-an was once a 25-week premature infant, weighing only 720 grams at birth. Today, she's returned to Taipei City Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit to thank the nursing staff who cared for her. Viewing the premature infant in the incubators helps Xie Chun-an to better understand how she grew. And looking at photos of herself as a premature infant, she gains an even greater appreciation for the loving care the nurses provided her.
Whenever she was in any kind of pain, we would always try to ease her discomfort. For example, when her oxygen levels dropped, we patted her on the back to help her expel sputum, and then she felt better. That gave us a sense of accomplishment.
Full of confidence, Xie Chun-an stretches in dance class. Her mother is especially grateful to the nurses who provided the care that allowed Chun-an to grow to be a happy, healthy 7-year-old.
I knew when Chun-an was born it was a very critical situation, but I had complete faith in the doctors and nurses.
The around-the-clock nursing care enabled Xie Chun-an to pass through the critical period and grow from a premature infant to a vibrant, happy girl. Yesterday, we introduced you to Zheng Yajun, who is the head nurse of the pediatrics ward at Hualien City Hospital. Under her leadership, the ward has not lost a nurse and has been fully staffed since 2010. Here is Yajun's secret.
主播，请回答。主播，可以了。哎，可不可以扣一下你的班的？好不好？喂，哎，秀宝，嘿，开始了。
It is 8 in the morning and the shift is changing at Hualien City Hospital. In the pediatrics ward, head nurse Zheng Yajun is rounding up her team.
这是 Q12 吗？没有 QD 好好4天吧。OK 好。
The casual meeting at which night shift and day shift nurses meet up helps ensure that the patients receive proper care, and it is also time for Yajun's inspirational speech.
大家可以看一下，它里面有写东西啊，我就觉得，其实也不要去小看。
We can read what she has written here. I think it's important not to neglect the smallest things that we can do every day. Take Roshan, for example. Here she wrote what Roshan did and how she did it. She said, "Thank you, please keep smiling." For Shouman, she wrote, "You have such a beautiful smile."
把好的事情回馈给他们，他们会有。
Giving them positive feedback motivates them to do each task better.
Here they can be seen being inspired to do their best for their patients. 2-year-old Elisa loses her hair because of the treatment she receives. Her family has expressed its concern to the medical staff. Doctors and nurses suggested this because she keeps losing her hair.
My daughter happily accepts the aunties here caring for her. She trusts them more, and that's why she's willing to let them cut her hair.
To be able to give of myself like this makes me very happy. It also helps alleviate her suffering.
At 8 in the evening, pediatrics nurse Yao Chaoxing appears in downtown Hualien. Having just finished work and still had no time to grab dinner, Chaoxing first visits children's clothes shops with a co-worker to pick up something for Elisa.
Because her head has been shaved, we want to help her look prettier and more adorable.
Carefully picking and choosing, the nurses are concerned about the materials used.
You can wear these and lie in bed without problems because they are soft, not hard.
The reason why we bought these is because they are soft. You can lie down in one and not feel uncomfortable. We bought these to make her feel good.
At the 7th shop the pair visits, they finally find what they are looking for. When the owner finds out their motive, she decides to share her love.
They are really remarkable because young people tend to have their own activities. For them to go and do this not only moves me, but also makes me proud of them.
你看，这是什么？这是啥？帽子。还没东西，好可爱哦！
这里面的是谁？
是谁？Elisa 是谁？我们换戴这个好不好？
All 10 new nurses who joined the pediatrics ward since 2010 when Zheng Yajun became the head nurse have remained at their post, including Yao Chaoxing.
就小儿科来讲，就是这中间是没有的。对对对。
As far as the pediatrics ward goes, no one has quit so far. Since we became fully staffed, there has been no new openings. We are still fully staffed.
Facing their demanding job with a positive attitude, these nurses know that the more they give, the happier they become. Because of such commitment, no nurses have left the wards in 3 years.
After the 9/11 earthquake in Taiwan, Tzu started rebuilding schools in hard-hit areas with its Project Hope campaign in hopes of giving students a safe and comfortable environment in which to continue their education. After the 5.12 Sichuan earthquake, Tzu Foundation similarly started rebuilding efforts in China. When the massive 4.20 earthquake struck in April, one of the rebuilt schools, Tianjin Elementary School, became a temporary shelter for local residents as the building was constructed to withstand an 8.0 magnitude tremor. The school's education is also infused with Tzu's philosophy, and each student does their best to help preserve the school.
morning begins early for these students. Upon waking up, everyone makes their bed. From making the bed to cleaning up their living environment, the students at Qianjing Elementary School are learning how to take care of themselves. Some of the younger students are living away from home for the first time, so there are older students assigned to each room to provide leadership and to help them out.
Toy leaders are here to help everyone make their bed, stack towels and pans, and put the toothbrushes and cups together.
Only those students whose homes are over 3 hours away can live at the dormitory. But a convenience for the students becomes a responsibility for the teachers.
We look after them to see whether they are used to living away from home and see that they go to bed on time. We have to make sure they make their beds and see to their sanitary conditions and safety. A little, but since some children are younger, it takes time for them to learn.
There are over 1,300 students attending Qianjing Elementary School, and only 144 of them live on campus. The other students who walk to school also play their part in keeping the schoolyard clean. Instead of heading straight to the classroom, the students take a detour.
I clean my shoes every day because we need to protect the school's environment.
There's even a shoe monitor at the gate.
In keeping the shoes clean, we can in turn keep our schoolyard clean. It's been a while since the school was finished, and it still looks very new. This really pleases me. Principal Song also showed me around the fields, and I saw how well the students have maintained the flowers. In the past, when I visited schools we helped build, sometimes things have not been maintained in such a pristine condition. The windows and doors, for example, will be broken from student use. This school has left a deep impression on me.
In 2010, when Tzu rebuilt the 13 schools after the Sichuan earthquake, the foundation also gifted each school with a sweet osmanthus sapling. Today, the sapling is already this tall. Qianjing Elementary School planted theirs near the front of the school and designated this path the Gratitude Walkway, hoping that students remember their blessings each and every day.
When the 5-12 Wenchuan earthquake happened, we all felt helpless. But then the foundation came and helped us. They gave us such a great building for our children to study in. We know about the difficulty and hardship that goes into making this happen. So we should do our part in helping to preserve the school as best as we can.
Besides preserving school grounds, students are also taught the value of food. The school will announce the daily lunch menu ahead of time, so the students can pick and choose the dishes they want and be responsible to themselves for the amount they eat. These children are taught to wait patiently in line, so there is no pushing or shoving to get ahead. The lessons these students are getting here at Qianjing Elementary School will form a firm foundation for the rest of their lives.
Back to Taiwan on May 14th, Dharma Master Brahm from Indonesia visited the Tzu Humanitarian Center in Taipei. In fact, Dharma Master Brahm is originally from England and decided to become a monk soon after he graduated from university. Through the visit, he was inspired by Tzu's humanitarian spirit and was also moved by DaAi TV's determination to spread the truth, goodness and beauty through the media channel.
This is Dharma Master Brahm from Indonesia, who is visiting the Tzu Humanitarian Center for the first time. He's deeply moved by DaAi TV's philosophy of spreading peace, harmony, and goodness.
is to create more happiness in the world, and we create that happiness, that peace, that harmony in many different ways. We teach people not just knowledge, but teach people wisdom. Knowledge is what you read in books. Wisdom is what you know from your own experience, what you feel in your heart. Here to Taiwan to see
Dharma Master Brahm also pays a visit to the news department and has a try at anchoring. He says he's truly touched by DaAi TV's determination to spread goodness and beauty through media.
Everything will be on the internet, and this is the way forward, and it will be on our iPhones. And so we need to have those abilities actually to download whatever is recorded, because that's a modern way of information.
Thanks to this visit, Dharma Master Brahm has a chance to learn more about Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit and says he hopes to work with the Buddhist NGO in the future.
According to government figures, Taiwan's elderly population now nears 2.5 million people. In less than 5 years, the figure could soar above 3 million. As the country develops into an aging society, young people need to reevaluate their filial piety practices. But the elderly are no longer just waiting for the young to tend to their needs. Many are learning to pursue their own happiness. Here's more.
Housewives for decades, today these grannies, whose average age is more than 60 years old, are taking on a brand new role, college student. They take notes feverishly as they have never baked before and want to make sure they do every step right. 71-year-old Su Jinghua is the oldest in the class. Encouraged by her children, she gave up watching over her grandchildren at home and embraced a new life. She now has a new outlook on life.
Of course, I'd rather not be at home. Back home, I could only stare at the walls. It was terrifying. Here outside, you can start afresh by learning. I think my relationship with my children has improved because of this.
Founded by Taiwan's Ministry of Education, the Senior Education Program has had full enrollment ever since its inception. The senior students' eagerness to learn always impresses the instructors.
They arrive much earlier, like 12-something. The class doesn't start until after 1, so they come to get prepared quite early. They are very serious and are very determined to learn. They have taken an interest in learning.
In their pursuit for knowledge, seniors develop new hobbies in life. Life after retirement now marks a new happy beginning for them. This is a cooperative home in Taiwan where dementia sufferers and their family can come and find support. Many people bring their parents here on a weekly basis, allowing them to breathe easy for a while.
The cooperative family model is a supportive program that can be implemented in communities where residents can come and learn to care for seniors suffering dementia. In this way, these seniors can then continue to live in their respective communities.
As Taiwan develops into an aging society, it is imperative to improve seniors' quality of life. While in-home care is becoming more popular, the traditional thinking that seniors should just stay at home and do nothing must also be overhauled. A typical afternoon at the Thai village in Danshui is very quiet, as young people are all working in the city. This is a typical reflection of the senior community in Taiwan. Several years ago, the elderly in the village decided to spice up their retirement by starting a co-op farm. Some plow the ground with the hoe, while others bend down to pull weeds. The farm has restored liveliness to the village.
There's not a lot to do as far as entertainment is concerned up here on the mountain. So for these elderly people who have a lot of time on their hands, the best recreational activity is farming. Many of them were once farmers in their younger days.
In their youth, these seniors farmed to make a living. Now old and retired, they farm to improve their quality of life. In a society that values the care of its elders, Taiwan's seniors are learning to pursue their own happiness. At the same time, Taiwan's young people must also re-evaluate their practice of filial piety and honor their parents while they are still here to share life with them.
In our next report, we go to Fengyuan district of Taichung City to meet Tzu Chi Care recipient Mrs. Xie. 18 years ago, Mrs. Xie's husband passed away from cerebral atrophy, and soon she realized that 2 of her sons also suffer from the same illness. To make ends meet, Mrs. Xie began working as a cleaner at the Fengyuan hospital. In spite of the long working hours, she insists on visiting her 2 sick children at a local nursing home every day.
10 years ago, after falling ill from cerebral atrophy, Mrs. Xie's youngest son became paralyzed and lost the ability to speak.
He has bad blood circulation, so his body is really stiff. You can't move much of his body.
18 years ago, Mrs. Xie's husband passed away from cerebral atrophy, and soon she realized that 2 of her sons suffer from the same condition, a genetic disease.
Thank you to those kind-hearted people and Tzu Chi volunteers for supporting me along the way, and without whom I wouldn't have been able to make it.
As well as taking care of her 2 sick children, Mrs. Xie also works as a cleaner at the Fengyuan hospital.
I work more than 8 hours a day. After listening to the Master's Dharma, I learned to change my thoughts and my pain suddenly lessened.
Following the Buddhist chanting, today Mrs. Xie joins the Buddha Day ceremony held at the Fengyuan hospital.
I have been chanting Buddhist sutras on a regular basis, and I want to dedicate the merits to my children.
After work, there is another task for Mrs. Xie to do.
I will visit my children every day after work. First, I will take the bus and walk for about 40 to 50 minutes before arriving at the nursing home. I want to save the money so I don't take the taxi.
国信，你好吗？你现在吃饭吗？还没吃饭呢。还没吃饭呢。你有乖吧？我。
Due to cerebral atrophy, Mrs. Xie's 36-year-old son's mental age has deteriorated to that of a 4-year-old. Tzu Chi volunteers thoughtfully present Mrs. Xie with the cake on behalf of her son. As her son's swallowing function has deteriorated, Mrs. Xie carefully feed him the cake.
妈妈的味道啊！是啊。
Both of Mrs. Xie's sons suffer from mental and physical deterioration. Their mother looks after their hygiene needs and always feeds them with extra care.
All the hardship is worthwhile because the Master's Dharma has helped me a lot.
世上只有妈妈好，有妈的孩子像个宝，投进妈妈的怀抱，幸福享不了。
Staying in Taiwan, at the end of today's program, Master Deming and Master Deshou from Hualien Stingsel Bird arrived at the Tainan Tzu Chi Senior High School to lead the elementary students there in the Buddha Day ceremony and also experience the grace of the Buddha and their parents. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.